Slopes Live, Arian. Maybe we'll come up with a different title. Maybe we won't. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Tell me what's going on. I mean, you run a co-working space. Social distancing must be impacting co-working businesses quite a bit. How are you responding
A
to
little
this?
counterintuitive to our concept, I would say that.
It's a little
Uh,
bit different than what your business model is, right? Your business
yeah,
model
it is.
is the
It
opposite
is.
of social distancing.
Sure. Yep. Yep. That's definitely the case, and it's caused us to look at our business through a different lens. Obviously, community is coming even more to the forefront rather than space, and we're reaching out. We've actually touched base with about, I think we're over 95% of our members we've had a one-on-one with. Um, and we have really, I think, better handle on what our members are going through now than ever before. We have just really focused our time and energy on listening and trying to understand and work with and develop solutions with our members to help them get through this time.
How are your members being impacted right now? How is this affecting startups?
Well, so for those of you that are not familiar with Kiln, I'll just give you a little bit of a brief overview. Kiln has been in operations now for about a year and a half, full operations. We launched a prototype almost 2 years ago. In May, we'll celebrate 2 years since our prototype was launched. And we have two active locations, one in Salt Lake and one in Lehigh. And we have sites under development in Lehigh, in Park City, and in Boulder, Colorado. So three under construction and two in operation. Kiln has 1,100 members currently, and over 250 businesses are members of Kiln. We have around 20 full-time staff ourselves, a little lower than that, about 18, and we have about 5 or 6 part-time team members. So we're a small business, and we understand what it's like to feel like a small business, particularly in a market where the market is shifting and changing. We're in this very unique situation where we act in many ways like a landlord, but we aren't actually a landlord. We sign leases ourselves, so we're beholden to landlords who are beholden to lenders, who are beholden to, I don't know who else out there, the vortex of people who are involved in this complex world of financial services and debt. And so getting clarity from our landlords to be able to share with our members, to be able to help them with their employees, to be able to help them with their families, is a complicated process right now, and one that we are learning to navigate in the same way that many of our members are learning to navigate for the first time. So I hope that's a helpful overview. We do, Kiln, most of you are probably aware, Kiln hosts about 30 events a month across Utah. And of course, all of that has stopped. And we have made a huge amount of process and procedural changes going all the way back to March 2nd, when on March 2nd is when we actually launched our COVID response team. We implemented multiple practices across our business. I think we were at least a week and a half ahead of most businesses in terms of we were doing 3 times a day cleaning of all touch surfaces, created clean kits in all of our meeting rooms. We actually started our own hand sanitizer factory. Like, our team was building hand sanitizer with aloe vera and rubbing alcohol and creating our own concoction of cleanliness. And so we've been doing that for the past month, and we've implemented a variety of virtual resources for our members. We've actually allowed members to check out a desk and take home a desk, so you can work from your Kiln desk at home, which is pretty cool. And then we've been in the process of procuring some really cool new technology, which is UVC technology. And some of you may be learning about UVC, but China has been using it to disinfect buildings, mass transport, etc. And we now have, 5 months ago, before all of this started, of course, we were in the process of launching our new location in Lehigh, which comes online this month, later in April. And we procured a UVC technology called Guardian Air QR. And what it does is it actually ionizes and oxidizes the air. It's ozone free, so it's healthy for humans. And it sends ionized particles from the HVAC system into the space that kill viruses and bacteria on surfaces as well as in the air. And that technology is live and working in our 5th floor in Lehigh, and we're in the process of implementing it in our other existing locations. So that's kind of cool. And I'll pause there because I know I've kind of just.
Well, how do you think this is going to affect funding? I know that you've had some calls and you're still doing some virtual events, which I love, and everyone should go check out Kiln for that. A lot of those 30 events, Silicon Slopes, we did a lot of events at Kiln back when things were normal, my friend.
Yes, we did.
We love Kiln. We love doing events there. I know that we'll be doing events there again at some point, hopefully soon.
Yeah, isn't it great that the Silicon Slopes Tech Summit isn't happening in May or June?
I'll tell you what, if the Silicon Slopes Tech Summit, if we didn't pull that off in January, life would be quite a bit different for our organization. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
we're pretty lucky that that happened when it did. And you saw everybody cancel theirs. You saw Qualtrics cancel theirs. You saw Domo cancel theirs. Everybody's canceled everything.
Well, maybe we needed you around, so the winds of good fate were in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I don't know if we would be around were it not for Tech Summit and this last one. But let's forget about Silicon Slopes. We're fine. We're here. We've got a logo behind me. Everything's doing good. Arian. How is this going to affect funding? Because I know that you had Gavin Christensen, you had Ben Capel, you had Sid Cromanhook on a thing. I would encourage everyone to go watch that. I thought it was awesome. Thank you for doing that. I hope you guys continue to do webinars like that. What did you learn from that?
Well, I learned that, like most people at that time, this was, again, the world has changed a lot in 2 weeks, and that was almost 2 weeks ago. Everybody was trying to strategize. So creating skyfall projections, understanding what their business could look like or might look like, starting to do some analysis around cost. And I think that uncertainty is an interesting word because startups typically thrive in uncertainty because they're the ones that are willing to take the step out into the unknown. But this kind of uncertainty is unique. And I think that it's required a new skill set among founders of early stage companies to be able to navigate. It's both being a pessimist behind the scenes in terms of what you're doing with your forecasting and being an optimist in making sure that you help your team stay focused and motivated. And it's unlike, well, certainly, I mean, I have 16, 17 years of my career, and it's unlike anything that we experienced in 2007 when we saw the downturn there. And so for a lot of these venture firms, I think their main objective is to make sure that A, they steady the ship with their current portfolio companies, and then B, they help their LPs understand what the future looks like, and then C, they get back to their own business of how they help businesses grow through funding. And they're probably still in A and B right now. I do want to talk about how we can help them get to C, because I think it behooves all of us, even though in some ways, the government candidly likes to vilify private equity and venture capitalists at times. And that's really the wrong attitude, because these are people that are putting their hard-earned money at risk to help us grow our businesses. And so we need to do everything we can to we're doing good work to sort of plug the hole of the bathtub, and now we need to figure out how to fill it up. And fill it back up. And that there's some work that needs to be done in terms of policy to help venture capitalists and private equity firms get back into the market and help their LPs feel comfortable putting money at risk.
Well, the government's going to play a role here, right? With these, the stimulus that was passed and these SBA loans that everyone's trying to, figure out how to apply for and get as soon as possible. Because if you think about,
can we touch on SBA loans at some point?
Well, yeah, I want to talk to you about that. So if you think about venture capital, like you said, I agree. I think venture capitalists, play an important role in the economy and in the startup and tech community. You think about VCs, though, I'm not sure, if the company is dying, and money is not going to be the solution, that they're just going to throw money at it, right?
Sure.
Whereas these SBA loans could do that.
That's right.
These venture guys and these and women, and although it's mostly guys, let's be honest.
Well,
But these,
I don't know if we want to go down that path right now.
yeah, it's not
Because
time. It's not
we're
time for
two
that.
guys on the phone call right now.
But these venture folks, they have a fiduciary responsibility to their LPs, right? To
Yeah,
make a return,
they do.
and throwing cash at a company that's sinking is not their strategy.
Yeah, and in Utah, let's remember we've got some in very, very good venture capital firms. We also have a lot of high net worth individuals throughout Utah, private individuals who have chosen to invest in the startup ecosystem, and their funding has been a meaningful part of either getting the company to the stage where they get venture backed funding, or even supporting their growth all the way until Series A or Series B. It's been a big part of the way this ecosystem.
How are you thinking about these SBA loans?
Okay, let's touch on that real quickly. Again, because we have literally hundreds of members who are small businesses, we've just zeroed, and as well as ourselves, we've zeroed in on the SBA loan process. Most small businesses are right now. So I want to just make sure everybody's aware of a few very important changes that happened last night. The first is that at 6 o'clock last night, the SBA released an email that said that if you have already applied for the SBA, you need to reapply. And the reason you need to reapply is because your prior application did not include your banking, direct debit, or banking details. So this $10,000 grant, which most of us have probably heard about by now, if you applied prior to last night at 6 o'clock, you need to reapply so they have your banking details so they can actually wire that money to you. And it's almost like, I can't tell, and there's still a little bit of a lack of clarity on this, but it's almost like the line is starting over again. So be sure to get in very quickly. That's for the EIDL. Did I get that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The EIDL loan. And that's the emergency disaster loan. And that's the one where you can get $10,000 up front, but after that, it's going to require a personal guarantee and some collateral to go to the next step. And you don't have to go to the next step. You can get the $10,000 and still decline the loan, and there's no strings attached. So you should definitely be doing that. And we want to make sure all Utah companies are out ahead of the game on that, because Mitt Romney mentioned on your call yesterday, Clint, that he specifically said, we'd just be aware that the SBA has a limit. It's not an unending stream of funding. So there will come a point at which there's no money left to continue to shell out. So we want to make sure that Utah companies are right at the front of that line. So be sure that you make that a priority today to get on that SBA.gov website and put in your application. You put an application for every entity within your business. So in my case, I have a couple of different entities because I have different operations. Each one of those entities can apply.
I love that. I want to have you back on actually to talk about SBA, but I have to end this here. We're going to have you back on for sure, Arian. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for everything you're doing, my friend. Hang in there.
Thank you.
See ya.
Cheers.